So I'm going to present my research paper titled as Fashion Sustainability Intention of Consumers in RMG Manufacturing Countries, Obstacles and Potentialities for Implementing Sustainable Fashion in RMG Manufacturing Countries. Here's the keywords, and you have already knew about my short biography. So let's not just waste the time and start the main part of the presentation. So I'm going to represent my paper through these contents. Here it is, you can see. As one of the planet's most resource-intensive and polluting industries, embedding sustainability into the supply chain has become the biggest challenge for the RMG industry. From raw material cultivation to packaging, the uses of excessive amounts of water, chemical compounds, subsequently the exploitation of workers and other social challenges are prevalent in each process. Since production processes occur in RMG manufacturing countries, the impact of unsustainable issues of faster production and the consumption cycle of fashion is also felt intensely. However, no research is available specifying the challenges and opportunities of implementing sustainable fashion practices in RMG manufacturing countries. Therefore, this study aims to investigate the opportunities and constraints associated with promoting sustainable fashion in RMG manufacturing countries, with a particular focus on understanding customers' perspectives, intents, and behavior space. The outcomes of this study can contribute much to our knowledge of how people in developing RMG manufacturing nations view sustainable fashion and the possibilities for introducing it into the fashion industry. So here we can see the great difference between fast fashion and sustainable fashion. Now, I would like to share some aims and objectives. This study aims to get a holistic current state by doing the research to understand the importance of sustainable fashion, identifying the consumer's intention to sustainable fashion in RMG manufacturing countries, finding the obstacles to implementing sustainable fashion here, and finding the opportunities of implementing sustainable fashion in these RMG manufacturing countries. In addition, to highlight the potentiality that exists because RMG manufacturing countries are densely populated. This study will significantly contribute to a more in-depth and detailed investigation of how people's overall perceptions towards sustainable fashion in RMG manufacturing countries make it more widespread. More challenging to adopt, large number of people and the world's ecosystem alike will benefit from the widespread adoption of sustainable fashion in this nation. Here are the overviews, the objectives of the research. To accomplish the research goal, a comprehensive research question was developed. The following issues were examined in this study. What are the major factors influencing consumers' intention towards purchasing and consuming sustainable fashion, through which the obstacles and potentialities of implementing sustainable fashion in RMG manufacturing countries can be identified? To streamline the research, the following specific questions were added to the main one. Number one, what are the major factors influencing consumers' intention towards purchasing and consuming sustainable fashion? And another is, what are the obstacles and potentialities of implementing sustainable fashion in RMG manufacturing countries? So now, I would like to show the overview of the research. The focus of the study is to obtain a comprehensive understanding of the current state by locating and evaluating the various challenges that currently stand in the way of putting sustainable fashion into practice in RMG manufacturing countries. After concluding the whole research, it is identified that consumers' perception of fashion sustainability is different in well-off RMG manufacturing countries and less developed RMG manufacturing countries. The scenario is totally different in these two parts. Like in various research, it is discovered that among well-off countries, consumers of UK, Poland, Spain, and Turkey are concerned about moral dilemmas facing the fashion industry, willing to spend more on sustainable fashion, donate and repair or recycle, and throw away clothes like comparatively less. And comparatively, the consumers of German, France, and Canada are less concerned about these issues, like due to less trust in verified ethical labels brands and less stylish or trendiness in sustainable fashion product, and so on. In comparatively less developed RMG manufacturing countries like Chile, Lithuania, Indonesia, Vietnam, China, India, consumers are more conscious of sustainable fashion ethically and habitually by choosing slow fashion, making only essential purchases, reusing and recycling. There is a detailed discussion on the literature review part of my research paper regarding this. And here are the elements which are influencing this sustainable fashion purchase and consuming are showing. You can see after analyzing the studies from various research on different developed and emerging RMG manufacturing countries, it can be identified that these factors, and these factors are classified into 4 categories that can be listed like this. First one is social and environmental effects, which includes environmental concern, social issues, ethical issues, lack of awareness, lack of interest. Then product features, which include style, trendiness, design, color, and aesthetics. Next is availability, which includes accessibility, inadequate stores, and authenticity of the product. And lastly, you have categorized like price benefit, which includes general product value and price. And there is a venture in the slide you can see where I tried to show like elements which influence these factors, these intentions positively, and elements which influence these factors negatively to the consumers to purchase and consume sustainable product. And in the middle, I showed the elements that like influencing these intentions positively and negatively both. So depending upon it, I have made my hypothesis. Here we can see 4 independent variable, 1 dependent variable, and 4 control variable here. Here, consumers' intention towards sustainable fashion is the dependent variable, the only dependent variable in my model. And another 4 independent variables are social and environmental effects, availability, product features, and product benefits. Social and environmental effects refers to moral and awareness related problems that may have a momentary and long-term impact on the environment, and evaluate people's opinions toward the value of social responsibility and environmental conservation concerning their purchasing patterns. Availability is being immediately accessible and available for use is referred. The availability of a product affects its consumption and purchase, which is related to consumer purchasing behavior, which is emphasis on subjects like authenticity, accessibility, and suitability of retailers. Product features are the qualities that provide consumers with value, style, trendiness, design, color, aesthetics, and other factors are like covered to gain insight into purchasing pattern related to the product features. And price benefits demonstrate how an action is more advantageous than it is expensive. It consists of factors including overall product quality, cost, and other that have a greater impact on consumers' decision to buy and use sustainable clothing goods. So the hypothesis I have showed here is social and environmental effects, availability, product features, and price benefits, which all affects positively to the consumer's intention towards sustainable fashion. These four factors are positively impacting the independent variable, which is consumers' intention towards sustainable fashion, and the control variables are age, gender, income, and education, which are demographic data. Now, I'd like to share my research methodology with you all. The study's planning and execution were methodical to achieve the goals and objectives of the research. This study began with a thorough analysis of the literature on consumer perceptions and intentions for the sustainable fashion of global and RMG manufacturing countries. The literature made the research background clear and illuminated the procedures that might be applied to solve the research issues and provide an academically sound responses to research topic. The use of positivist research philosophy, deductive methodologies, and support in the development of the study's hypothesis and conceptual model were all influenced by an understanding of the research issue gained from the literature. The opinion-based and priority-based concerns regarding fashion sustainability intentions among consumers of RMG manufacturing countries were chosen to collect data. Rather than choosing randomly, 352 young fashion wear consumers having various academic degrees, including fashion design and apparel manufacturing from reputed institutes, related industry professionals, and practitioners, sustainable fashion researchers, and education personnel were selected as participants purposively, basically. And to gather information about the variables influencing the purchase and consumption of sustainable fashion, a questionnaire-based survey was subsequently undertaken in Bangladesh. My country of residence, Bangladesh, was a natural choice as the source of research sample, not only due to convenience, but also I chose it because it is one of the leading manufacturers and exporters of RMG among the whole worldwide and will allow for useful comparisons in the future, of course. So conducted the survey by collecting responses in Google Forms, from which case studies and data were compiled. Additionally, a theoretical model was developed and put to test the confirmatory factor analysis. The research adopted realist ontology, positivist epistemology, and deductive method. The proposed hypotheses were supported or contradicted by the data as responses to the research question were sought. And the whole research was quantitative research. Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the sample characteristics. Like we collected data from 365 participants. Among them, 352 were tested valid based on the responses to validity test questions. For this research, population in Bangladesh were surveyed and quantitative data, particularly from young consumers who frequently purchase fashion products. This study included the entire target population and maintained diversity. The following diagrams portray the sample characteristics. You can see among the participants, 40% were female and 60% were male. Their average income was among like 10,000 to 50,000, and most of them were between 10,000 and rest of them were 20,000, and some were more than 50,000 their income, average monthly income. We can see the age group of the participants, that is 15.66%, like almost 16% were from 15 to 20, 52% were from 21 to 25, and 15% were 26 to 30, and 19% were approximately 31 to 40 years old. Their education level was like nominal percent were in secondary school and higher secondary school, bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD holders, and some were professional certificates like diploma and so on. Here is the total scenario of the characteristics of my sample. Sample. Now, I'd like to show you the data collection process and analysis. Like it is, I have said in previous, like it is realist ontology, epistemology, deductive mode, and questionnaire based, which was done by confirmative factor analysis. In Cronbach's alpha and composite reliability test were as well, like above 0.7, and p-value of them in confirmatory factor analysis were 0.001 less than, which was very much significant, and the model was quite significant all over the research. And the factor estimates, like factor loading result of it shows positive correlation between the independent variables and dependent variables with a very significant p-value less than 0.001, and thus the model was very much reliable and verified. Now I'd like to show you the challenges I have found, which is directly affecting the purchase and consuming decisions of fashion consumers. I would like to show the challenges first, some obstacles. It is clear from the responses of the participants that sustainable clothing is not widely available. Additionally, it is difficult for clothing firms to design and promote true sustainable clothing, which deters consumers from buying and utilizing such products. And besides, if a dress is much more expensive than comparable products with similar features and offers less benefit than its whole product value, this deters consumers from using and buying sustainable fashion products. Furthermore, they think that since there is less competition in the market, clothing firms charge a proportionally far higher price for sustainable goods. They are not compelled to purchase eco-friendly clothing due to the higher price. This is like, in this circumstance, it would be challenging to implement sustainable fashion in the nation that is producing RMG for the whole world. We know the tagline that made in Bangladesh, who made your clothes in generously, but in our country, like in Bangladesh, the price is very much high when the brands are producing sustainable clothing. Participants agreed that the availability of sustainable clothing products, the production and sale of more sustainable clothing by adequate clothing brands, and the production and sale of truly sustainable clothing by maintaining sustainable materials, production process, would all have a positive impact on people's consumption and purchase of sustainable clothing items. Because we can see some opportunities here. It is clear from the responses of the participants that sustainable clothing is not widely available. Additionally, this is difficult for consumers to the I'm talking about opportunities. I'm really sorry. Opportunities that the participants comprehend the necessity of taking social and ethical factors into account when consuming and buying clothing. In this sense, they are motivated to purchase and use environmentally friendly clothing. They think that increasing public awareness of sustainable apparel might affect consumer behavior and wardrobe decision. Ensuring trendy style and design in sustainable apparel would help the introduction of sustainable fashion succeed. Additionally, people disagreed with the assertion that individuals purchase and wear new clothing where they have to or not to follow current trends. They are purchasing clothes whenever they just need it. Don't just to follow the trend. In Bangladesh, a developing country that is producing RMG, this habit will greatly aid the adoption of sustainable fashion, in my opinion and according to my research result. So I would like to conclude my research findings now. There are some limitations throughout the whole research I have faced due to lack of information and enough research regarding how sustainable fashion is perceived in RMG manufacturing nations. The research proposed a basic model, very basic model. It can be strengthened and improved by adding more mediating variable, dependent variable, and control variables. And also some cross-cultural opinions from different nations can make it more stronger and strengthened. Moreover, obstacles to data collection and gathering authentic information exist due to people's less interest in participating in surveys in this region. Basically, they don't want to participate in the surveys and they don't want to answer properly, or they don't give the usually they don't give authentic information regarding about them. More than 8% of responses had to be dishonored for blank answers and answering pre-test question inappropriately. So it was a great challenge for conducting this research. And I think we need to make more research, conduct more research regarding this topic, because implementing sustainable fashion in these RMG manufacturing countries would be a great great potential. It would serve the whole world much better.